Good morning, boys and girls. Apologies for no upload yesterday. I just looked and there was nothing to talk about. There weren't really any transfer rumours either. Normally you have a look and you think, okay, there's a transfer rumour or two or something there. There wasn't even anything, so I thought, you know what? Best to say nothing at all. But there was an article that sort of sparked my annoyance a little bit, which you'll see from the title of the video. Before I go into that, it's probably worth pointing out as well that Naif Agard, who's a Stade Rennais left central defender, I did say a week or two ago that he was apparently flying over to London to have his medical. And it's quite funny, actually, because I read an article, I think it was, excuse me for jogging the camera, that wasn't quite set up properly. I read an article yesterday which said a Naif Agard flying over to London and he's having his medical. Or he's in London having his medical. I thought, oh my word, you know, what's going on here? Now listen, personally, I think we're going to sign the guy. I really do. I think there's just too much smoke for there not to be a fire on this one. But I don't know. I don't know what the truth was. Was he over having a medical last week? I don't know. People keep on churning out this story. He's having a medical. Maybe it's just the longest medical that we've ever known. And it's quite right, to be fair, for West Ham to be thorough. Maybe we'll do like one toe a day or something like that. We'll get there. We'll get there in the end anyway. The other thing that sort of cropped up before I get on to talk about, I just feel that Lingard has made David Moyes look very, very silly indeed, is the talk that Jarrod Bowen would be a potential target for Arsenal. I understand you're going to get these stories made up. You really are. I just can't see it. I mean, Arsenal have got bigger fish to fry, let's be fair. They don't really have, I think, a stellar superstar centre-forward of note. That's something they're probably going to need to address anyway. What was the guy's name? Pepe. Well, Pepe was meant to play in the same position as Bowen. It hasn't really worked out. And a lot of the time, Saka can be deployed there. I just don't see it. They've got, what's his name? Martinelli, who can play on the other side. I just don't see Arsenal giving West Ham as much money as we want. I did notice that yesterday $100 million price tag had been, by the newspapers, of course, $100 million price tag had been put on Bowen. Look, he's an England international now. I thought, particularly in the first game, thought he looked pretty sharp. He was unlucky not to get a goal. Actually, I thought he made all the right noises as well. It's just really important, for reasons that I've stated before, that he signs a new contract. The club have got to get this guy to sign a new contract. It's as simple as that, because we start to create the look that we're not very good at it, really. And when I say very good at it, what I mean is getting players to sign contracts. I think what a lot of clubs do is when a player comes in, he has a good 18 months, they tie him down on a longer contract with improved wages. But not to do that. That's why we're in a situation with Souček. After that, what he did is he came in, played half a season, then the next, helped to stay up. The next season he was excellent. At that point, give him a new contract, right? All right, now maybe I know people might say, well, no, look, he was crap last season. Same with Bowen. Bowen came in exactly the same time as Souček. Give him a new contract then, because the better they get, the harder it is then to offer him a deal. And you find yourself in a sort of Declan Rice situation, really, don't you, on that one? I did also notice, I said there was nothing to talk about. Now I'm finding things to talk about. I did notice that Ben Johnson has said he is going to take up Mark Noble's dressing room sweeping duties. Now, if you don't know what this is, Mark Noble, funny enough, it's a story I'd never really heard before the last season, the final season, which is after each game, in the away, I don't know if he does it in the home dressing room as well, but it's certainly in the away dressing room. Basically, you can imagine a whole squad full of footballers and the coaching staff, they make a lot of mess. Teacups get thrown on the ground, whatever, bits of tape that they tie their socks up with, and all the rest of it, all the crap gets thrown on the ground. And before he leaves, after every game, Mark Noble gets a broom and sweeps up the opposition's, basically the away dressing room in the opposition's ground, so as to cleaner as less to do. Classy. I mean, just classy. There's no other way to describe that. It's brilliant. Anyway, Ben Johnson said he's going to take up those duties. You know, I think it's lovely. I do think it's a lovely tradition and brings a bit of humility to it. Right, before I moan about Jesse Lingard, may I just point you in the direction of this video sponsors, who are Manscaped. Now, Father's Day is coming up, okay? Now, there's a very awkward situation when there you go, we've got a whole bag of goodies from Manscaped here. Let's be fair, they do a lot of things. One of them they do is a pube trimmer. I use it as a beard trimmer. It's quite awkward to say to your old man, Dad, how long are your pubes? Are your pubes getting a little bit too long? I can recommend it's if you don't want to do that, I understand it. They have a lot of products from colognes. Doug's won this, by the way. I've got to get it off you, Doug. Lotions, all sorts of lotions, creams, ointments, hooter trimmers. So much stuff, boxer shorts. The best thing is we're giving you 20% off. So go to Manscaped. Just Google Manscaped. I'll put the link in the description below. Google Manscaped. It'll take you to the UK website of Manscaped. At the checkout, it'll ask for a discount code. Hammers Chat, all one word. There's loads of stuff in there, and you get 20% off by using the Hammers Chat discount code. There you go. Smells good too. Like me. Okay, Lingard. Right, now, this story did me... Sorry, I'm being tidy. I mean, in particular, I'm packing me bag up. There you go. I'm not going near it. Not packing me bags. So, the story goes of Lingard. Lingard has decided that he's not going to come to West Ham anymore. I've got to be honest with you. Not wound up. It made me. Don't quite trigger me. I don't get triggered per se, but it made me sort of sarcastically cackle, knowingly sigh, if you want. I just thought, oh really? Now it may or may not be true. I would suspect that he's probably not coming to West Ham, right? I think my problem with it is how Moyes allowed this to run for so long, and I've not been impressed by the story and what's been reported on what appears to be Lingard's stance, which is basically Lingard's had a look at it. He's not going to come to West Ham because West Ham haven't signed enough players. Now, don't get me wrong, I think we haven't signed enough players, and you can think we haven't signed enough players, right? Declan Rice is allowed to think we haven't signed enough players. But, honestly, I just thought, who does he think he is? He dillies and dallies, he doesn't sign, right? And then he's saying, apparently, evidently. He might not have said it, but the article suggested he did. West Ham haven't signed enough players, and West Ham apparently aren't going to give him 180 grand a week. I just thought, well, good luck with that. Good luck getting 180 grand a week off anyone. I mean, look, if Newcastle were silly enough to pay it, good on them. Go up there. But the thing that annoys me is that David Moyes, I'm convinced of this, right? So go back to the loan spell. Okay, Jesse Lingard had the loan spell here, finished end of season before last. I think Moyes thought he was going to get him. I thought he was going to buy him straight away off Man United. It didn't happen. Jesse wanted to stay at Man United, right, and basically see if he could persuade Solskjaer. So Jesse does really well at West Ham. Solskjaer thinks, oh, hello, he's better than I thought, maybe. So Solskjaer says, come back to Man United, because Man United wanted to get him to sign a new deal, so as they could basically protect their asset rather than have him walk away on a free. Jesse says, OK, I'll go back to Man United, see if I can force my way into Solskjaer's plans. He actually ended up playing less than he did before. Couldn't force his way into Solskjaer's plans. Solskjaer gets booted out. Man United recruit an even worse manager than Solskjaer, right? And Jesse Lingard can't get a look in under him. There's some public words said about Lingard, and I can't even remember exactly what was said. Something about training or this, that, and the other. But I didn't think Rangnick spoke particularly well of Lingard, right? So clearly at that point, nothing's happening. We then try and get him in January, right, as well, by the way, in the last January, to try and do exactly what we did before. And I felt that David Moyes waited all window. I feel the reason we didn't get anyone... there's two ways of looking at it. Either last January, in the most recent winter window, you either think that David Moyes was happy with his squad or he thought he was short, right? I think he did know he was short. I think he just put all his eggs in one basket. I'm going to get Lingard again. That will do. The old false nine and all that stuff, right? It worked for me last season. It worked for me this one. That's why we were still bidding for him. West Ham, I tell you this now, West Ham was still trying to get him on transfer deadline day. Now, nothing happens anymore without Moyes' say-so in terms of transfers. You know why, there's been loads of failed transfers and whatnot, right? But anyway, so we're still going for him. I think at a point when it was a case of, no, he's just not coming. Man U won't sell him. It was obvious, we've discussed this before, obvious Man United weren't going to sell him. We were their rivals. Of course, there was one place difference in the league. We were their rivals last season, right? They were never going to sell him. So we didn't get him. And I just think David Moyes now, David Moyes has tried to get him 3 times and failed twice and got him once, right? And even now he's still trying to get him. And despite all this, so I think Moyes showed real loyalty, actually. It might be blind loyalty, it might be silly, and I think in terms of January, it was silly. I think he just should have gone out and got a striker. But whether you think it's silly or you think it's sensible, it is loyal, it is determination, it is him putting faith in Lingard. I think Lingard's now turning around and saying, no, I don't want to come. I think Moyes has been a little bit silly with it. And the funny thing is, it's not like a player he doesn't know. I mean, he must have his phone number. There must be some dialogue or some sort of conversation between these two people when Moyes is able to say to him, Jesse, are you going to come to West Ham or not? And I think the last one, as a West Ham fan, I just was the most recent one. Jesse, it was printed somewhere. It was in a lot of articles. It read something like, Jesse is still undecided about where he'll play his football next season. He's going to go on holiday, and he'll decide after he comes back on holiday. He's going on holiday for 2 weeks. Are you joking or what? Are you joking? I mean, he's had months. I mean, never mind months. Let's go more than 12 months. So let's go a year on this. I don't know what the extra 2 weeks is going to do. I really don't. And the longer it goes on, and I like Lingard as a player. I still think Lingard would improve our team. I really do. I think if we'd have had Lingard at the end of last season, we'd have finished above Man United. I think that's the sort of difference he would have made. I really do, right? And I do like him, and so on and so forth, right? But the longer it's gone on, the more it's felt like Lingard feels he's doing West Ham a favour. And it goes back to something George Graham said, who was, if you're too young to know, George Graham was a very successful manager of Arsenal. And he always said, never sign a player who thinks he's doing you a favour. And there's been a few, I think it was one of the All Blacks managers, who's like the rugby union manager, said something very, very similar. I think the premise is that when you're buying someone from a big club, make very sure that when they don't feel they're taking a step down and doing you a favour. You're better to get someone who thinks that you're doing them a favour and they've got to impress. Bowen would be a case in point, of course, in this. So I just got to the point. I just thought, do you know what? Another 2 weeks. Oh, do you know what? I'll let you know. I'll let you know after I've had my holiday. I just thought, do you know what? Don't bother. It's crazy, and I do really. And I understand I might be reacting to a story that's not even true. But my word is dragged. And I just hope for David Moyes' sake. See, my breaking point came quite late. I was still thought that Lingard would be a good sign and would be good for West Ham. But I just hope Moyes reached his breaking point, sort of before I did in that sense. And I hope that he turned around and said, you know what, Jesse, I've tried for well over a year. I've gone out publicly with it. I've stated to everybody that you're my number one target, or whatever the case may be. I've spoken to your agents. I've spoken whatever. I've spoken to everybody. I've tried to pay money for you to get you from Man United. I've tried to get you on a free. I've tried to get you on loan. I've tried every way possible to sign you. You know I want you at West Ham. Yet you're still I'm not sure. And it's a funny one, really, isn't it? Because Moyes has this sort of MOT test that appears to be. Well, he said it in the podcast with Jake Humphries. The MOT test appears to be all about attitude and application and stuff like that. And I guess Moyes knows with Lingard that he's going to get that attitude and that application when he arrives at the club and he's on the training pitch and that sort of thing. But he's not showing that now, is he? I mean, he's not demonstrating those characteristics in a sort of quest to sign for West Ham. Anyway, I could just reach the point. I thought, I've had enough. You know what? He may well turn up and sign for West Ham now. But I sincerely hope that a line has been drawn now. Which is, if I was just more to say, Jesse, if you want to come to West Ham, you better let it be known now. You better say it publicly. You better sign, and you better, and that's it. Because what must not happen is David Moyes must not. I don't know why I'm wagging my finger at you. It's not your fault. I'm telling you off. It's not your fault. What David Moyes must not do is spend the rest of this transfer window chasing Jesse Lingard, flashing his knickers at him, hoping that he's going to run over, because it just hasn't worked. It really hasn't worked. Move along, please. Not you. You stay here. Can't come back again tomorrow. But David Moyes, move along. Find another target. Find somebody else as good as good as Jesse Lingard is, as good as Jesse Lingard was for West Ham, and I said it at the time and I say it now, that was the best point in Jesse Lingard's career at West Ham. Jesse Lingard will never match that. Jesse Lingard is not going to go to a club and match that purple patch that he had there. I'm not saying he'll be crap. I mean, all the football reasons go to West Ham. There's your football reasons. I mean, so we're looking at different reasons here, right? Because if that's what you wanted to do, where can I actually go and thrive? Where can I play my best football? The evidence is there in front of you, you know. But I just think, you know what? Done. Over. Let's leave it alone. Let's draw a line under it. And as good as Jesse Lingard is, which is what I was going to say, as good as he is, if West Ham can't find a player to sign for us that's comparable or better than Jesse Lingard, then we're all in trouble.